we have to talk about HBO's new Harry Potter reboot. And the big news surrounding this particular series revolves around the cast. I don't just want to limit it there, because these kids are quite unknown, I believe, maybe having bit parts in some things before their big casting announcement being attached to the series, of course. But the big news I want to talk about related to this specific series is this right here. This by Marvel Montanero, May 28th, 2025. HBO Harry Potter series alleged to cost between $2 to $8 billion. By Daily Mail, budget discrepancies explode as audience challenges mount from all sides. We've been talking about a lot about this series, and well, not specifically about the kids that were just recently announced to be part of this cast, but mostly about the particular casting choices surrounding Severus Snape, for example, and many of the others that have had all the buzz. And now it seems like Warner Brothers Discovery is putting all of their eggs in this Harry Potter basket right here. The upcoming Harry Potter television series from HBO could be one of the most expensive shows in television history, with reports by the Daily Mail of an astronomical budget. According to the outlet, each episode of the series is expected to cost a staggering 75 million British pounds sterling, which is more than $100 million an episode in USD. However, this figure contradicts early reporting by the outlet. Now, what is Marvin referring to? Well, apparently the Daily Mail said that this could cost anywhere between, I should say, as much as $200 million an episode. Which, if you do the math on that, that's how we get to that $8 billion figure, because they're saying, look, this could be as many as 10 episodes per season, and then for each book will be a season. So that's where you do the math. That's how you get up to $8 billion. Now, even at that $75 million figure, and even if you do something like 8 episodes per season, well, you're still talking, roughly $5 billion for the actual season itself. Ron, this is a lot of money we're throwing around here.
It's I would say that if they're willing to put that forth that much money, and considering the backlash they've already had on casting, somebody there must have a lot of faith that this is gonna do well. It's hard for, like, let me put it this way. I'm not a Harry Potter fan. Okay. I've never been a huge fan of the movies. I've still have not been able to get myself through even to the last movie. And I've seen most of the series, I think, up through episode 6. It came out at a period of time in my life when I was already older and kind of past that stage. So I understand its popularity. I will say this. I love going to the Harry Potter section of the Universal Parks. That is amazing and done so well. That is the only thing that ever made me want to look at the movies. So I was like, if the parks are this cool, maybe the movies are pretty awesome. And I started watching the series, and it's interesting. I don't hate it. It never became never had the love for me like a Star Wars had when I was a kid. Star Wars, I mean, I just love that. And so to see it ruined, like, that's what's so scary about a new iteration of anything, or even continuing in the wrong direction. You got fans, right? You already have fans in place. The last thing that you want to do is tick off the fans that you already have by creating something that is not what they want. And if they spend upwards of $8 billion doing that, I don't know, like, it's just beyond comprehension, right? Like, when you're a regular person making a regular living, and you think, okay, so that would be about 5 million of my lifetime's worth of money or more. You're like, oh, Christ, it's so crazy to me to think of.
It is insane. Like, this is a staggering amount of cash and capital being allocated towards a series. Now, look, I remember back in the day when the Harry Potter series was actually being released by Warner Brothers. More than 15 years ago, I would suppose. Every single year, a Harry Potter film would actually come out, it would make $1 billion at the box office, which is why it was like, okay, can we stretch that in, to 2 movies for the last book right there?
Yeah,
Can we keep this train going right here? It was very profitable. It was a very profitable exercise for Warner Brothers. But now, with this series, especially with this, casting controversies and so forth, and not really appealing to any one particular demographic or the other, and I mean left and right here, folks. This is a big, gigantic gamble. I mean, this makes Rings of Power look like I don't know, look like a sound investment in comparison. I mean, that's the amount of money that we're talking about here. It's absolutely crazy. Oh, go ahead.
I'm wondering who this series is being made for, and I mean that in all sincerity. Like, if you were going to make this, like, I know Game of Thrones became a very popular thing, right? And it was one of those series when, for me, I watched half of the first episode of Game of Thrones, and I saw what kind of material was in it, and I'm like, no, I can't watch the rest of it if it's all going to be that kind. Like, there was stuff to me in Game of Thrones that crossed the line over from R-rated to even worse, in my opinion. So I just didn't go for it, right? Became very popular. A lot of people watched it, and I'm like, I don't know. Are they going to make this for adults? But no, there's kids cast in it. This is obviously being made for kids. It's not the same crowd as a Game of Thrones crowd. And for that kind of money, all I can say is the first season better absolutely knock it out of the park. The Snape casting is very, very interesting. You look at oh gosh, now I can't think of his name. The actor that played Kylo Ren.
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver, yeah, Adam Driver. Like he looks like the perfect Snape, right? Everybody said that. This guy, I have no idea. I don't know what he can pull off or what he can't pull off. And maybe they're going a different direction with the character or what. I have no idea. But it's just, I'm sorry. It just seems like to me that we live in a day and age where you can do things for a lot less expensive than putting out that much money. And question, do shareholders have any control whatsoever with these companies? Like, can they say, hey, this is my money you're spending? I mean, it's I don't know, it's bizarre.
Well, I would hope that they do it to some degree, but usually you hire executives to handle these kind of decisions at this level right here. But I would assume that shareholders get at least some say in a decision this monumental. We're talking about this much money attached to this project. I want to go ahead and put this up on screen right now. These images of the casting decisions actually made for this particular series. You can see the kind of actor that they have now versus the actor they had before. Some casting decisions make a lot of sense. Others are a little bit of a head scratcher right here. So I think you're right, Ron. I think that was particularly profound what you said, that this first season has to really knock it out of the park in order to justify this insane cost, because we're going to be watching these viewership numbers like a hawk. And if you do not get up in the top 10, it's going to be a overwhelming disappointment. Now, I think it will. I think it will crack the top 10 at least, but can it stay at the top? I would say 2 or 3. Can it really, gain that audience, gain that viewership, and retain it? That is going to be the big distinction right here. We can see a couple more of the numbers associated with this specific reboots. HBO is going to spend $75 million an episode on Harry Potter for streaming. If you do 7 seasons, 8 episodes per season, that's $600 million per season, roughly $4.2 billion total. And that's on the low end of our estimates right here. Again, it could be as high as $8 billion, which is absolutely insane.
So
I want to go ahead and
is this going on the new HBO Max that is currently Max, that was HBO Max before, and is now going to be like, I mean, you're talking about people who can't even make up their minds about a name of a streaming service.
It's a good point.
Like, how and you're giving these same type of people $75 million to make. I mean, let me, a lot of times in production costs, right? A lot of that, you look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, when the production costs got higher, it's because they were paying the actors a lot more money. RDJ, he had the value of spending $50 million on him just to be in the movie. Huge chunk of the production costs. Who in this is getting paid that? Who in this, like, the kids they're not going to get to see that. I mean, like, that's crazy to me.
Well, and you make a good point here, Ron, because as the series goes along, I don't think anybody's going to be willing to necessarily agree to a certain pay rate, like for the entire series. Usually you do a negotiation per season or maybe even a couple of seasons. So as maybe some of these actors get more prominent in their careers, as the series gets more popular, well, these costs could actually go up because, like you said, Ron, the cost of talent retention goes up, right? So This is going to be really interesting to watch even on that level as well. I want to go ahead and incorporate people commenting here. Remember, for 5 months, Corbin Dallas, Harry Potter is DOA thanks to crap casting. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, right? This is one of the things that you're going to have to overcome when it comes to this series is the casting controversies, and if people can necessarily resonate with some of these decisions right here, especially some of them being so profoundly different from the books. I'm Mary Vita, member for 2 months. I'm a huge HB fan. It's not old enough. I hate it. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, because you have like millennials who grew up watching these films and were a part of their lives. Some of them actually watching them in theaters. Well, now you're coming out with a reboot series that, well, has to justify itself. And can it? That's going to be the big question. Man, so profound. So it's just an interesting story for sure. Indeed. Oh, we're going to be watching that with great interest, as Palpatine would say.
To watch your career with great interest, yes.
Indeed.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.